Welcome back to Cosmeholics Anonymous. I am your favorite girl, Bo Vintage, and today's video is, of course, a Botox segment. This is the Botox segment that a lot of you have been waiting for. I think that this is something that needs to be talked about. I think that this is something that needs to be discussed, just because when you're growing up and you're about to enter into adulthood, there's a lot of things that they teach our ass in high school. So I'm about to school y'all real quick on a few things. I'm gonna try to make this video as short as possible. I'm gonna try to get through each topic as quickly as possible. But I just want to talk about credit. I want to talk about moving out. I want to talk about grocery shopping, like budgeting. I want to talk about all those things that are important to me now as an adult, things that I didn't learn in high school, like I said. So let's get into it. Okay, so the first question is from Lauren Nicole, or actually Miss L_O on Twitter. Follow her if you want to. She said, what is the best way to fix a low credit score? I know it takes some time, but do you have any helpful tips? Thanks. To fix a low credit score, honey, you're gonna have, well, to restart rebuilding your credit score, if you had a, okay, like everybody basically starts at the highest, which is I think 900 something. 900 is like the highest credit score you could possibly have. And as you start to ruin your credit by doing foolish things, like applying for a cell phone as soon as you turn 18, you apply for your first cell phone and you're on a contract, and every time you're fucking late paying that, your credit gets affected. People don't know that. Anything associated with your social security number or social insurance number, so that's Canada and America, anything associated with your address, and anything associated with your phone number, whether it's your cell phone or your house phone, mainly your house phone, but it... Hell no. BRB. I'm 100% sure I'm allergic to Jacob's Creek Moscato. 100% sure. But I'ma still drink it though. So personally, the best way to fix your low credit score is to get back on top of things. If you've already damaged your credit and you feel like it's at the point of no return, obviously it can get overwhelming, but the only way to fix it is to, if you still have a credit card or whatever you have that is associated with your credit, you just have to keep paying it on time and not letting it get delinquent at all. So that's the easiest way to start repairing it. Just show the company that whoever you have your credit with, or like your credit card with, show them that you are being a better human being and paying your shit on time, because that's the main thing that a lot of people ruin their credit with, is paying late, and that affects your credit a lot, a whole fucking lot. If you're always late paying any bill, including hydro, electric, like whatever the bill may be, if you're late, it is affecting your credit. So try not to let things fall behind. If they already have and you just feel overwhelmed, just try to start paying it back as much as possible. And I will get into how to use a credit card, because that's the one thing I wish I knew before I got my first credit card when I was 18 years old. If I had known how to use it properly, I would never have maxed it out, and I would never have ended up in the situation that I was in. So yeah, if your credit score is low, the best way to fix it is to keep up with your payments. Pay them either a little bit early or pay them on time. It's better if you just pay them a little bit early, and you know, so you don't have to worry about it, or if you have automatic payments set up to come out your account. But the thing with automatic payments is the one time that you don't have the money in there and the payment gets returned and you get hit with the NSF, which is non-sufficient funds, then that affects your credit as well. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is how to use a credit card. Honestly, if you are 18, unemployed, and looking for free money, do not get a credit card, because it is not free money. It will never be free money, and like, just no. Credit cards are for people that have jobs. Credit cards are for people that can afford to keep a credit card and pay it on time. Now, when you're 18 and you are about to start college or university, all the banks and like those little booths in the mall, they're stopping you like, you want to sign up for a free credit card? You want to sign up for a free credit card? Blah, 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 blah. The answer is always no, okay? Unless you're ready to start building your credit and you have a job that you can actually pay the credit card with, then do not apply for a credit card. If you are unemployed, a credit card is not the answer. It's not going to solve your problems. It's appealing at the time, but it will not help you in the long run. You will end up ruining your credit. Some of y'all already got your credit ruined because your parents signed out shit in your name because they ruined their credit, which is unfair and it sucks. But that is the case of a lot of people. A lot of people's parents did ruin their credit before they even turned 18. So it's just like, what you gonna do? I don't know what to tell y'all. This is mainly for people that have credit card, or not have credit cards. This is mainly for people that are thinking about getting a credit card or thinking about moving out or those things, okay? That's what this video, or that's who this video is catered to. I can give you guys advice and I can tell you guys my personal experiences when it comes to trying to rebuild credit and stuff, but I can't really tell you how to fix it because I ain't no credit expert. I just know what I know, okay? Okay. The way you use a credit card is very simple, okay? You swipe and you sign, or you insert, put your password and you sign, or you don't really need to sign if you insert the card and put the pin in, but only use the credit card if you have the cash, the legit cash on you right then and there to pay the credit card that same day. So my credit card is from the Hudson's Bay company. It's a MasterCard, but it is associated with a store. So a lot of people have credit cards like that. You can get a credit card from the grocery store. You can get a credit card from basically anywhere, that Walmart, like you can have a Walmart MasterCard, anything like that. Basically, if I have a $5,000 credit card from the Hudson's Bay and I go to Walmart and I buy a $1,000 TV with that credit card, that very same day or the day after, I need to be able to go to the Hudson's Bay with my $1,000 and put the money back onto the credit card. When you do this, they look at you and they're like, oh my gosh, this is her first purchase with the card and she's on her payments already. They're gonna call you probably the next day and ask if you want to increase your credit limit. You can say yes or you can say no to increase the credit limit. My advice would be to say no if you can't manage it. Like if your credit limit is more than you make for the month, don't increase it because it's already too much for you. If you cannot pay your credit card off with one paycheck from your job and still have money left over, you do not need to have a credit card. And the reason is because when you're swiping and inserting your card and putting in your PIN and purchasing things, you're not really thinking about how much money you're spending until your statement comes in the mail and you're like, what the fuck? So it's really important that you don't take advantage of the fact that you have money accessible to you. Only use your credit card in like emergencies, or only use it for small purchases like gas and groceries. Don't be using it for big purchases like a fucking TV because you don't have the $1,000 to put back onto the credit card. If you have $1,000 to put back onto the credit card immediately, then it's okay to use the credit card, because that, like, you're supposed to get a credit card to build your credit. You're not supposed to get a credit card to have extra money just in case. So it's the same thing. It doesn't have to be a big purchase. It's the same thing with if I go to the grocery store and spend $200 on groceries for the week or for the month. Not for the week. Hell, $200 for the week. That's crazy. $200 for the month. I have to be able to go back to the Hudson's Bay that same day and put the money back onto the credit card. And again, they're going to look and say, okay, she's staying on top of things. She's not letting her credit fall delinquent at all. The minute that you let the minute that you miss that first payment, they're going to change your credit score from R1 to, or not your credit score, but they're going to update the credit bureau from R1 to R2. Well, once you hit 2 months late. You don't want to ever be late on a payment. I've definitely been late on payments before, and it'll get to the point where you're so late that they don't necessarily send you to collections right away, but they will call you from their end. They'll call you and ask you what's really good, when can you make a payment, and once you are able to make that payment, then they will put your credit card back on. Like, that's only if you max out your credit card. Every little tiny thing affects your credit. So even if you are to go spend $1 fucking at Tim Hortons and you don't pay that dollar for 3 months, you're still going to be, like, your credit score is still going to be affected for just $1 on a card that's a $5,000 limit. You don't want to do that. I'm going to recap real quick on how to use a credit card. You only want to use the credit card if you have the money that same day to pay the credit card and are able to do so within, like, at least within that same week that you spend the money. You should be able to go and make a payment onto the credit card just so that you don't fall behind ever. If you use and pay, you're never really going to have to catch up with yourself. If you just use, you're going to end up being overwhelmed with how much money you spent, because $5 here, $20 here, $15 here, like, it may seem like small amounts, but it really does add up at the end of the day. And before you know it, you spent $2,500 on the credit card, and you don't have $2,500 to put up immediately or up front. You don't have that money, and so you begin to make the minimum payment. Let's talk about minimum payments. Minimum payments are a waste of fucking time, because credit cards come with what? Something called interest. And interest is basically extra money that you don't really want to be paying, because why should you pay interest? Some credit card companies, or some, depends on your plan or the contract you sign when you get your credit card, but sometimes you don't have interest on your credit card, but 9 times out of 10 you will have interest. And the interest on my Hudson's Bay card, I'm going to say, I almost want to say 23% or around the 20% range. But they said once I use, for the first time, once I use the credit card outside of the Hudson's Bay, then they'll switch it to, I believe, 19 or 17%, which is better, but it's still a very high amount of interest that I'd be paying on money that I've already spent. Interest is something you don't want to pay, so that is why it's important to pay on time, because the longer that your credit card sits there unpaid, whether it's maxed out or whether it's just 3 months of using the card is not maxed out, but you still didn't pay back the 3 months worth of money, then your interest is going to accumulate to whatever percentage that you agreed to. Say you have a $1,500 card, okay, and you max it out. It ends up almost going to collections, but just not there yet. You say you go to like R6, right? R6 is 6 months past due, and the credit card is expired, or it's like, it's not valid right now because it's maxed out anyway. That $1,500 card is going to turn into an $1,800 card. $1,800 card is going to turn into a $2,000 card. Why? Because you have not paid it and the interest is accumulating and you're starting to get overwhelmed. And I worked as a collections agent, so I know both sides of it. I know how to collect, and I know being on the opposite side of the phone denying that I am Bo Vintage. Like, I know. You really don't want the interest to start accumulating, because you will be overwhelmed. There's stories at collection agencies of people yelling at us through the phone talking about they're going to commit suicide because they're so overwhelmed with their bills. And it's not even just credit cards, but it's their fucking car bill, or their what is that, a car note. They can't pay their fucking car note. They can't pay anything. Their lights are cut off. Like, people, it honestly, credit can ruin your life, okay? So that's why it's really important that you take care of your credit and work on building your credit. I mean, if you was a drug dealer, you don't really need a credit card. You got cash. But who's a drug dealer? Like, no, this video ain't for y'all, because y'all can't get no damn credit. People do, there's fucking millionaires with bad credit. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of people with bad credit. Like, the whole fucking world has bad credit. But if you haven't even started to build your credit yet, and you're becoming the age to build your credit, this is like the perfect video for you to watch, so that you don't go out and make mistakes that majority of us do, because we didn't learn these things in high school. Like, why didn't they teach us how to fucking use a credit card? Like, I honest to God wish somebody had taught me that. Like, taught me, do not use the money if you don't have the money. Do not use the money if your paycheck can't cover your fucking credit card. Because when I was working at Garage, that's when I got my first credit card. The credit limit was only $500, which was reasonable for my first credit card. But I was making the mistake of using the credit card too frequently, not paying attention to how much I was spending, and my job wasn't giving me enough hours to even pay the credit card back in one full payment. So it was just a hot ass mess, okay? Don't spend the money if your job is not paying you more than your credit card is worth, okay? That means if you're working a part-time job, you with like 20 hours a week, you should not have a credit card that is over a fucking $1,000 limit. Like, you're probably not even making $1,000 a fucking month. It depends on where you live. It depends on what the minimum wage is in your city. But if you're just working at fucking McDonald's, you don't need to have a $2,000 credit card, because you can't afford that shit. Especially if you're paying rent on top of that, especially if you have to buy groceries for yourself, especially if you have a car. Like, a credit card is just not for you, okay? And lastly, to make sure that you're paying everything on time and on schedule. If you have automatic payments set up, do not make that account go delinquent. You better find a way to get the money in the account before the payment is supposed to come out if you have automatic payments set up, because if you don't and the money comes back, or if the check bounces, basically, you're gonna be in some fucking hot water, and you don't want it. You don't want that problem. The other thing too is, if say your credit card expires, or you just got so overwhelmed that you haven't paid it and you end up in collections, and they start ringing down your phone, calling you from this number, that number, private calls. The first thing they want you to do, of course, is soft ID. Well, in Canada, it's soft. Actually, in America, too, it's soft ID. So all they have to do is say, hello, am I speaking with Raymond Chow? And if you're Raymond Chow and you say yes, then they can continue with the call and tell you all this stuff. And then you start to, like, get scared, and you're friggin' crying in the corner of your house because you are in collections for the first time ever and you just want to die. When the collection agencies start to call you, well, first of all, hopefully you don't get to that point, but if you get to the point where the collection agency is calling you, don't avoid them, because a lot of the times they do have offers for you. You can settle your debt, and that means that you don't have to pay the full amount. You just have to make an arrangement to pay it off in like 2 or 3 payments, okay? So you can settle your debt, or they can put you on a payment arrangement where they can get you to, they make an amount for you to pay once a month, every month for say 12 months, and at the end of the 12 months you're fucking done. Say your credit limit is $1,000 and you want to pay it off within a year. You're gonna pay, well, if there's interest on it, say it's a little over $1,000, you're gonna be paying at about $87 a month because of the interest on the card. $87 a month is better than paying a lump sum of $1,000. Once you pay off that credit, you're removed, well, first of all, once you set up your payment arrangement, you're removed from active collections, and active collections is basically when they stop calling your fucking phone. The only time they're going to call you is to either A, remind you that you have a payment coming up, or 2, because you missed a payment or a payment bounced, it came back because you didn't have the money in the account, and even then, they still give you I believe 2 more attempts to have the money there for the payment to be withdrawn. Don't run from the credit. Like, don't run from it. If you have it, if it's accumulated and you're running from it, it's only going to accumulate more to the point where you're not going to be able to pay it at all. You're going to take your whole entire life paying it back, and you don't want to do that. So when the creditors call you, answer your phone, confirm that it's you, and see what they can offer you, or see how they can work with you to get your debt start paying your debt off, because you're gonna feel a lot more at ease when you know that in 1 whole year you're gonna be done with your credit. And you can tell them, no, I'd rather pay it off in 6 months, and then you'll just double your payments for each month so that you're paying it off quicker. Like, it's completely up to you, however much money you feel you can set aside for that month. If you think about it this way, you're probably going to end up spending that $87 on fucking bullshit. So you might as well just put it towards a good cause, which is paying off your debt, because your credit is your livelihood. At the end of the day, especially in Canada and America, Canada is your livelihood. Credit is definitely your livelihood. You need credit for every fucking thing under the sun. As you get older, you're gonna learn that, you're gonna see that. If you want to buy a fucking house one day, you're gonna need credit. If you want to buy a fucking car, you're gonna need credit. Of course, there's ways around that, not having credit, but it's just easier. Life is a lot easier when you have credit and when your credit is A1, okay? A1 sauce, okay? So let's get out of credit, because credit is exhausting my ass. If you guys have any questions about credit that I didn't address just now, then make sure you leave them in the comment box, obviously, or hit me up in the DMs. One thing I'm not really going to discuss in this video is student loans, just because I was never really a student and I can't really relate to you guys, but I do know lots of students, and I know that they don't like these bills that they have. And I also know that it's just like credit. You need to pay it back immediately. Don't let it sit there, because it also has interest, and it will also build up and swallow your ass whole, which you don't need. Like, credit sucks in that sense, but when you have good credit and when you build your credit to a certain level, anything you want in this world you could have. When you want to like take out a loan for a car, you're not going to have a problem. When you want to take out a loan for or a mortgage on your house, you're not going to have a problem, because your credit is A1. And that's what this video is for. I want you guys to be able to, if you haven't started building already, like this is what I want y'all to watch, so that you know how to build and how to maintain, and just so that you'll be okay when it comes to your first credit card, and not to take on anything that is too much for you to handle. That's when you're going to spiral and become overwhelmed and not know how to fix the problem. Your debt can swallow you whole. Like, I've been on the phone with people that have $60,000 credit cards but can only afford to make $600 payments. Which part of that makes sense? This means that the business that they had, if it was a business account, went under, because usually if the credit balance is that high, it is a business account, but the person was able to make large payments at one point. If it gets to the point they can only make $600 payments, it sucks. Like, you don't want to be in that position, whether it's a $600 payment for a $60,000 card or a $100 payment for a $1,000 card. You don't want to be in that position. You don't want to go to collections, and you definitely don't want your credit score rating to go to R9. Oh, and this is something very, very important, okay? Do not allow yourself to get so far into debt that you feel like you gotta go bankrupt. If you go bankrupt, that is the worst thing you could possibly do to your credit, and end up at R9. You don't want to be at R9 ever in life, okay? You only want to be at R1. R1 is the best. R1 is what you like. R1 is golden, honey. You need to stay at R1. Credit scores below like 800 ain't shit. If you start at 900 with your credit score and you dwindle down from all these late fees and missed payments and return payments to like a fucking 400 credit score, you're not even gonna be able to get a fucking apartment, okay? An apartment. If they do a credit check on you, you won't even be able to move out. So that is something to keep in mind. Without credit, you can barely do a fucking thing in this fucking world. Like, you need credit. And I wish I had known that beforehand. I know now, but like, if somebody had told me that before, I wouldn't have went through all that shit I went through. So I'm glad I got it all resolved, but it's still a work in progress. I definitely don't have some 900 credit score like I wish I did, but I don't. I'm still rebuilding my credit, but it's decent. It's not, I can do things. Like, with my credit score, I can do things. I could not do things before, okay? Okay, I really couldn't, because I fucked my credit so bad just from the time I turned 18 and I took out a fucking BlackBerry with Fido. That was the first thing I did to fuck my credit. I took out a BlackBerry, and it wasn't really with Fido that fucked me, but when I switched from Fido to Rogers, that shit fucked my life. Rogers will fuck you up for good. If you're in Canada and you have a Rogers bill, pay that shit on time. I worked for Rogers and I worked for a credit collection company. I worked for American Express. You don't want, those are the two people you don't want calling you, American Express and motherfucking Rogers. Like, you don't want that phone call. You really don't. Yeah, with Rogers, my bill just got over, it got like to like, I think over $2,000, and I was like, I cannot pay this right now. And this is before YouTube. Like, I was not able to pay fucking shit all, okay? So I really didn't have it together. Like, honestly, it was such a struggle. And like I said, it's still a work in progress, but there's no fast way to rebuild credit. So let me explain that to y'all. Ain't no fast way. You just gotta do what you gotta do. But you can't rebuild your credit. You can't speed up the process. You just gotta keep doing what you're doing in terms of paying on time and trying to prove that you're worth a damn to the credit company. Like, or to the creditors. That's basically all you can really do. Make large payments and make payments on time. Do not use, oh, I think I forgot to say this. Do not use your credit card to max. Don't max your credit card. If you are going to use an amount, okay, and I don't mean in like one swipe, if you're going to use a set amount on your credit card, only use half of it. If you have a $1,000 credit card, only use up to $500. Pay that $500 back, and then keep it pushing. But don't like use the $1,000 and then at the end of the month try to make a $1,000 payment, because it to the creditors it looks like you don't have the money. If you use it, use a $500 today and go pay the $500 tomorrow, they're gonna fucking see that you're worth a damn. The next thing I want to touch on is how to save money. Y'all, I'm horrible. First of all, I got a makeup addiction. I got a fucking spending problem. Shopaholic. Shopaholics Anonymous, hello. Like, COSMEHOLICS Anonymous, Shopaholics Anonymous, like, it's a problem, okay? I have a spending problem, I do. And it took me a while to really accept it and realize it. I sound like, yeah, it's a real problem. Like, I finally accepted it, so now I can talk about it. Like, I'm talking about it like it's a real addiction. Honestly, shopping is an addiction, it is. If you're in a relationship, okay, and you share finances, you share everything, basically, except for your toothbrush and your drawers. If you're in a relationship, whoever is better at handling money, okay, should handle the fucking finances. Point blank period. Point blank fucking period. If I did not have Shooter, my ass would definitely be broke, and I let you guys know that in one of the damn videos that I posted with him. I would be broke as a motherfucking joke because I spend way too much money and I don't realize I'm spending how much money I'm spending. Say I have like $1,200 on me, I'll go out, spend $600, not really, I spent $600, come back home and be shocked that I only have $600. Why am I shocked? Why am I shocked that I only have $600? I went out and I spent $600, but I don't see that I'm spending $600 because I'm spending it in like small increments or something like that. So, when it comes to my finances, I just let Shooter handle it because I can't handle it. Like, I honest to God can't handle it. I know now how to save. I don't save in a bank account, so it's kind of, I can tell you guys how to save in a bank account, but I don't use my bank account to save money because it doesn't make sense to me. First of all, I don't trust the bank. Secondly, anything can happen at the bank and I'm with the shits, and I rather, when you see your cash, like when you have cash and you see the cash and you see your pile slowly diminishing, then you're gonna know to stop. Like, but if you're just swiping your debit card, you're not gonna fucking stop swiping until you get to the cash and it says insufficient funds, and you're like, what the fuck? The way to save in a bank account, using your bank account, is like this. Open a second bank account, okay? And every month have an automatic payment transferred over to that bank account. Do not have a debit card for that bank account. And every month or every time you get paid from your job, transfer over a set amount to that bank account. That set amount is completely based on 1, how much you make, 2, what your expenses are for the month, and 3, what you want to send over there. So say you send over 30 bucks every time you get paid. $30 is not a lot. You're not going to notice it. You probably would have bought a fucking large pizza dinner. So fuck the 30 bucks. It's going into this next bank account. You're not going to realize it, because as soon as your money touches your bank account, it's going to get withdrawn and sent over there. So you're not going to see that you are supposed to actually have a certain amount of money. You're going to just see what you have and just forget about it. $60 a month for 12 months, that is $720 a year. It's not a lot, but if you freaking do that for 5 years, that's $3,600 that you would have spent on foolishness. And that's the thing, like, it doesn't matter. Like, you could do a fucking $10. At the end of the day, you're still saving something. It's better to save something than to save nothing at all. You save based on what you can. So I get that it's hard to save. Like, when you don't have a big lump sum of money, or when you don't have a lot of money, it is hard to save, because you want this or you need this and you have to buy this and that. Like, I get that it's hard, but that's why you have to create a budget for yourself, and I'll talk about budgets in a second. But you really have to, like, just not think about that money. Don't even think about the $30 or the $60 coming out of your account every month, because in the future, maybe, like, say like a year from then, you have to, like, I don't know, repair your car or something, and cost $400, and you're still gonna have $320 left after that whole year of saving. Just look at it as an emergency fund, and I don't mean emergency as in I don't have food for the week, let me just take out $20 from that account. No, don't do that, because it's unnecessary. Like, you could get food at your mama's house. You don't need to, like, no, don't touch that bank account. Don't touch it. So that's what you do if you ain't got shooter, okay? Because if you don't got a booth to save your money for you, if you prefer to save in a bank account, that's the way I would suggest to do it. If you don't like banks like me, then withdraw all your money. Either buy a safe and forget the password to it. Take out however much money your expenses are for the month, okay? However much money you have budgeted, you're allowed to spend for the month, and that's including groceries, that's including, or whatever it is, because maybe you live at home with your parents, you don't have to buy groceries, but take out whatever your expenses are for the month, okay? What you're allowing yourself to spend. Once that money's done, it's done. And trust me, when you have it like that, you're gonna stop buying stupid shit. Say you give yourself a $150 allowance for the month, okay? The month. You really wanna buy a fucking chocolate bar palette. The chocolate bar palette is fucking $58. Are you going to buy the chocolate bar palette? No, the fuck you're not. And you know what? You don't need it. If it's not limited edition, like, that's the thing. I stopped buying makeup that's not limited edition, because I would just be, like, I buy a lot of makeup. Well, I need to buy a lot of makeup, and my makeup kind of pays for itself, but at the same time, I buy too much makeup. And I just, like, I see something and I want it. But if it's not limited edition and it's not going to go anywhere, then it can wait. Do you know what I mean? Like, if MAC comes out with a line that's limited edition, okay, I'll go spend some coins. If the products are worth it. But if it's not limited edition, why am I spending it? It's going to be there next week. It's still going to be in stock. If it's not in stock, I'll wait till the stock comes back out. Like, it's not necessary. So only purchase things that are necessary. And that's what you will do if you have a budget, if you have an allowance for the month or for the week, whatever it is. If you give yourself a $200 allowance for the month and you want to go buy a fucking chocolate bar palette, okay, you can, but you're just going to subtract the $60 from that $200, and whatever you have left is what you have to spend for the month. But something is going to come down the line where you're going to actually need the $60, but you spent it on makeup, so that's too bad. So let me get into creating a budget for yourself. A budget is going to vary depending on how much money you make. Everything, basically, you have to work your whole entire life around how much money you make. Basically, how I budget is to write down everything, all the expenses that are important Okay, so your list should go from most important to least important. And the most important thing is rent. The next thing on the list is going to be the extra bills. So hydro, water, if you have to pay that. The next thing on the bill, I'm going to say would have to be the internet and my phone bill. Once all those things are paid, whatever money is left, I do not spend it. Okay, whatever money is left, I don't spend it unless I need to. Obviously, I need to eat, so I'm gonna do my grocery shopping. But if I don't have enough money to buy my groceries that week, then that's when you wait for your next paycheck to come. You can live off ramen noodles, bitch. The struggle is real. Like, you know what I mean? So just make a budget for yourself and stick to the budget. Don't go over the budget because you're not going to be able to take care of yourself. Like, it's easier with two people. Like, I don't have to pay full rent because I only pay half my rent. Shooter pays the other half of the rent. So it's easier with two people. It's easier when you have like a roommate or something. If you don't though, this is a real, it's really, really hard. And that's why I'm going to talk to you guys about moving out and stuff and why you should wait. In terms of saving money and budgeting, you definitely want to start saving money as early as possible. Don't wait till you're fucking 23 to try to start saving. Like, start now. Start the fuck today. Like, you don't want to wait long to start saving. Especially, and saving brings me back to credit. When you're applying for credit cards and stuff, they ask you questions like, how much money do you have? Do you have any savings, bonds, or blah blah blah? How much money do you have in your savings account? Say you have like $4,000 in your savings account. They're going to give you a credit card because they see that you have money. If anything should happen where you lose your job and can't afford your credit card anymore, at least you have the money in your savings account to keep your payments up until your credit card is either paid off or to maintain your credit card as you're using it while you're unemployed. If you don't have money in your savings account, then you shouldn't even think about getting a credit card because if anything does happen, you won't be able to pay it off until you get a job. And when you don't have a job for a long time and then you get a job, you're trying to catch up on what's been backed up, but it's hard to do that. And a lot of times credit card gets pushed to the very bottom of the fucking totem pole just because it's like, well, I gotta eat, I gotta do this, I gotta pay for a car note because I gotta get around. If I don't have my car, then I can't get to work. And it's basically like a domino effect. Once one thing gets affected, everything else gets affected. So yeah, so it's very important to definitely make a budget and start saving your money now. And don't wait until it's too fucking late to start saving, okay? If you have a job, if you're like 17, 16 years old, watching this video, save your fucking coin. When I got my first job when I was 16, and I wasn't paying rent, and that's the thing too, because you're not paying rent, you feel like you can just go out and buy everything and you're not saving your money because mommy and daddy are paying for everything, or mommy and daddy are paying rent, they're buying groceries. You don't have to care about those things, but that's not a reason to go out and buy or spend frivolously because we ain't balling outrageous. Like, when I got my first job, I had a goal, and that goal was to buy a Nintendo DS, the pink one. This was what I wanted for so long. My sister was supposed to buy it for me. She didn't buy it for me, and so I was like, fuck this, I'm gonna buy it myself. So I saved the money to buy that, and then like, you know what I mean, then I would just spend. I never saved a coin from when I was 16. Like, I did not save my money at all because I didn't need to, or I felt like I didn't need to, but what I didn't know was that I needed to fucking save my money. You're saving your money for a rainy day. When the day comes that you want to move out of your parents' house, it could be really early. You could want to move out at 16 because you're having lots of family drama, or you can move out at 18 or 19 or fucking 23, 25, okay? At the end of the day, you should have been saving money all that time so that when the day does come that you're moving out, one, you don't have to worry about having your first and last rent ready because you already have it. You don't have to wait for a paycheck to come in because you already have that money saved, and you can use that for first and last. Or you could use it to furnish your apartment. You can use it to buy your first pots and pans. Like, saving money is so key. So is a major key alert. Save your coin, okay? You heard it here first. Like, save your fucking coin. Don't spend money on fucking ridiculousness, okay? Save your money. Now, let's talk about the big M. Moving out. Everybody's excited to move out of their parents' house. They don't want nothing to do with their parents. They want to just have their own crib. They want to have their friends over. They want to party. They want to drink. They want to stay up late. They don't want anybody telling them to wash the fucking dishes, sweep the fucking floor, clean the bathroom. They don't want the responsibilities. They don't want to be told to do certain things, the things that our parents tell us to do. But little did y'all know, your parents are just training you, honey, because the day that you move out ain't gonna be, your mom's not gonna be there to get tired of the mess, to clean up after you. You're gonna have to do it yourself. Because why? Because you live there, unless you just want to live like a pig. But yes, let's talk about moving out. Everybody wants to do it, but nobody realizes how hard it is to move out. I had no desire to move out of my mom's house until I was 23. I didn't want to move out as early as I did. I was forced to move out because I was being a little bratty bitch and I wasn't listening to my mom. Despite the fact that I was, what, 19, 20, no, I wasn't 19. Despite the fact that I was 20 years old, but my mom's always gotten on my case about me being too much of a woman under her roof, basically. Like, there can't be two queens in one castle, okay? And so that's basically why I ended up moving out earlier than I was, or before I was ready to. And when I moved out, y'all, I did not have a coin, okay? I had a job, I was working full-time, but I was not ready to move out because I hadn't saved any money. I always told myself that I wasn't gonna move out until I had at least $5,000 to $10,000 in my bank account. When I moved out, I had no money in my bank account. I had $0 in my bank account. I had cash on me, but I only had $0 in my bank account because I've been working from 16 till now. But when I was working between 16 and 20 years old, that's 4 fucking years, I hadn't saved a penny. A fucking penny. I didn't save a red cent because I was living under my mom's roof. She was paying the bills, she was buying groceries, I was eating what she was buying, and so I didn't feel the need to save my money. I was living for free and buying makeup and buying clothes, and every time I got a paycheck, I would go shopping. Don't do that. Every single time I got a fucking paycheck, I would go shopping unless I was scheduled for work that day. And even if I was scheduled for work, because I worked in a mall, I would go shopping on my break. Like, it was ridiculous. It was absolutely ridiculous. And I don't regret it because I've learned over the years how to, you know, I've grown through it. So it's not that big of a deal. I mean, you know, you learn your lessons, you know, okay? But that is why I'm sharing my fucking story with you guys, or that's why I'm sharing this video with you guys, so that I can be the mistake for you guys. I don't want you guys to go out and make the same mistakes I made, and that's what most of any Botox video or storytime video that I'm sharing is, because I want you guys to learn from me and not do what I did when I was your age. So yeah, I wasn't ready to move out, but my mom wasn't having me anymore. She's like, bitch, you got to go. So she actually put a note on my door that stated that I had until November to get my shit, which was a whole month. She said, you have until November to get the fuck out, okay? She was giving me a month to get my life, basically. And when the month was finally up, though she wanted me out, she knew that I was not in the position to leave, so she allowed me to stay for 1 more month. And at the end of that month, I felt the pressure, I felt the need, or I felt like, okay, I have to go, or she gonna put my stuff on the curb, and it ain't going down like that. So I made it so that, I remember the last, the last 2 weeks before I was supposed to move out, I knew that I wasn't gonna have enough money for first and last. So I was panicking. I wanted to borrow money from people. Like, I wasn't sure what to do with myself, and I had, like, my back was literally against the wall. I don't even remember how the fuck we pulled it off, but we did. And I ended up having enough money. I think I took out a fucking payday loan. Don't do that either, y'all. That's another thing that can really affect your credit. But yeah, I had to take out a payday loan so that I would have first and last to pay first and last rent. I think right after I moved out of my mother's house, literally, we moved out in December and January came, okay? January, I think it was January 18th, I ended up getting laid off from my job. So now I've just moved out of my mom's house. I have no money in my savings account, and even though it was 2 of us, it was still like we were living very check to checky. Like, it was not okay. The apartment that we got we're paying way more than we should have. But my next story time will be the landlord from hell, just so you guys know why you should not want to move out so early. Because of the rush, we were trying to find an apartment. We found an apartment, but it wasn't really an apartment. I'm not going to give you guys too many details. Because of the rush and the eagerness or the pressure that I was feeling that she didn't want me at home anymore, we found some shitty apartment. I ended up moving to the shitty apartment, which was a waste of money. Don't move out, okay? Don't move out until you're ready. I didn't have a fucking red cent saved. Can you imagine not having any money in your bank account? You just took out a fucking loan to be able to pay your first and last rent. You pay your first and last rent, but then because you're laid off, now you don't even know how you're going to pay the next month's rent. And for 2 people that were working part-time, well, no, I was working full-time while I was laid off. So it really fucking sucked, because one person's income wasn't enough to cover the fucking rent. Or it was enough, but it was just like, okay, but what are we gonna do for food? Like, it was just a fucking mess. Luckily, I was eligible for EI because I had enough hours. EI is employment insurance, and I ended up going on EI, and we were able to maintain. But still, you can't live off of EI. Like, I can't do $500 a week every 2 weeks. Like, bitch, I can't do it. Like, I need my pockets filled. $500 ain't cutting it, especially when I got like back then when I had a shopping problem and all that. No, not okay. It's not something you want to do if you're not prepared to, and I wasn't prepared to do it. If you are ready to move out, I mean, there's a whole lot of things that you have to think about before you actually do that, which is, of course, your budgeting. Do you have money in your bank account? Are you going to be okay if you lose your job right after you move out? Will you be able to pay the next month's rent? Because if you sign a lease and then you can't pay your rent, you are in hot fucking water. You don't want to be in that water. Like, no, take me out the water right now. I needs to go. You don't want to be in that position where you can't pay your rent because you don't have money in your savings account to cover your booty. I think that's the most important thing for moving out, is to make sure that you have money. And you don't want to, like, you don't want to be so eager to move out. You move out and then you don't even have a bed. Like, you know what I mean? You don't want to move out and you move into an apartment and you're sleeping on an air mattress, or you can't afford furniture. Like, you can't even invite nobody to your house because it's not welcoming. You don't want to move like that. Like, you want to be able to furnish your house and it to feel like home, especially with your first apartment. You don't want it to be ghetto. Like, there's no point just to move out. Don't move out just to move out. You know what I mean? Move out because you're ready and because it's the best thing for you to do. Don't move out for trivial things. That's what I'll say. Don't move out because you unless you have to move out, don't fucking do it. Save your money up until the day that you're ready. Don't move out before you're ready. And that's basically all I have to say about that. Because if you do move out before your time, you're going to end up doing a lot of moving around in between the time that you are actually ready to move out and the time that you were not ready to move out. And so what I mean by that is, you're going to move out into your first apartment. A whole bunch of horrible shit's going to happen. You're not going to be able to pay your rent, okay? This is just an example. You're not going to be able to, say you're not going to be able to pay your rent and you end up getting evicted. You get evicted, you have nowhere to stay, you have to go sleep on somebody's couch. You can only be on somebody's couch for so long, even if you are helping them pay their rent or whatever. Say you rent out somebody's a room. A room is nowhere to live, okay? I get there's people that live in rooms, but it's not home. You're going to couch surf. You're going to end up in so many different places before you actually like sit down and be like, okay, no, I need a fucking home. I can't do this anymore. And And obviously that's life, like things happen, but at the same time it's just like if you were ready to move out when you first moved out, you wouldn't be in that position. I know lots of people that have been through that. Me myself, like, definitely have gone through that. Never again. That is just something to keep in mind. Don't move out until you're actually ready. It's just like anything else. Don't do anything until you're fucking ready. And I ain't got room for none of y'all bitches, so don't be trying to knock on my door, because I ain't housing nobody. I'm sorry. Anyway, if I missed anything or if I didn't talk about anything specific enough for you, be sure to let me know. Shooter took my phone. I don't have my phone, so I can't even, like, there was things in the list that I may not have addressed. If you do have any questions for me for this particular video, leave them down below in the comment box. I'll be answering them in the comment section. I don't want any emails about this. If you guys want me to do a part 2 and address certain things, then definitely just let me know in the comment section and I will respond to those. The Botox segment for next week, y'all, all I gotta say is the tea is real fucking hot, okay? Real fucking hot. But, like, no, it's too hot. It's too hot. I burned my tongue. It's too fucking hot. I really can't. Anyway, you guys, I do love you all. Thank you so much for subscribing to me. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you learned something. I hope that you guys will pay attention to what's important in terms of your credit. Learn about credit, because I don't know a lot about credit. I just know what I know, and I know what I've been through with credit. So do your research about credit. Try to understand it more, but this video is just tips on how to prevent yourself from falling into that spiral and the creditors calling your phone. You don't want that, okay? That was honestly one of the most interesting jobs I've ever had, and I'm glad that I had that job because I learned a lot while being at that job and being on that side of the phone rather than the other side. Shout out to them for hiring me, hey, but fuck y'all, because y'all grimy as hell. Anyway, I do love you all, and I will definitely see you in the next one.